All right, everybody, we are back. Fins Nation has returned for another week of Miami Dolphins content. I am Louis Sung. I'm going to walk you through all this as we get ready to talk about how the Miami Dolphins absolutely dominated the New York Jets. There are plenty of things that I want to talk about, but there is one particular topic that I am just going to spend pretty much the entire show talking about. There will be other opportunities to talk about other things as the week carries on. But before we get into all that, just want to go ahead and mention that this show is brought to you, as always, by our good friends at prizepicks.com. Make sure you're using that promo code 5, that's FIVE, and they will match up to $100 on your initial deposit when you sign up. They have all sorts of promos that you can take advantage of. The Flex Friday specials. Right now, they have the 12 days of Picksmas going on, which basically means that you're going to have a special pick that you can make pretty much every day leading up until Christmas. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. Plenty of awesome, good stuff for you to use. Make sure, again, prizepicks.com, promo code 5. They'll match up to $100 on your initial deposit if you have not already signed up. So don't waste any more time. So with that being said, the one thing that I want to talk about right now is the Miami Dolphins and their running game. The reason I want to bring this up is because as of right now, even after the Dolphins have managed to shut out the New York Jets, they actually did that again 3 years ago. The last time they shut a team out was also the New York Jets, 3 seasons ago. But this is why I want to highlight this, because we are about to reach the home stretch of the NFL regular season. And the team's schedule from this moment forward is about to get so much more difficult than anything that they faced pretty much all year long. Like, if you look at the schedule that the Dolphins have actually faced, who have been the teams that they've really struggled against? Well, it's the only 3 teams that they've lost to. They've lost to the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. They got their butts kicked there. They lost to the Philadelphia Eagles, and we can argue about the circumstances of that loss all we want. They still lost. And the Kansas City Chiefs, which, again, we were hoping it would be neutral. In reality, it was a Kansas City home game. There was basically no aqua and orange to be found. It was all Kansas City red. So either way, however you want to put it, were the Dolphins in a lot of those games? Yeah, they were. They had an opportunity to win each and every one of those games, but they didn't. They didn't get the job done. So why are we harping on this right now? The Miami Dolphins just won 30-0. Should we not be celebrating this? I do think we should celebrate it. Good. The Dolphins won 30-0. They shut out the New York Jets, their AFC East rivals. Usually a team that they end up struggling against one reason or another, because that's just how rivalries work. But the reason I'm harping on this now is because the teams that we are about to face stand in the way of the Dolphins making the playoffs. Stand in the way of the Miami Dolphins winning the AFC East. As I am recording this, the Miami Dolphins are 10-4. They lost to 3 teams that they had an opportunity to beat, but they didn't because those are Super Bowl contenders, and then they lost to the Tennessee Titans in embarrassing fashion, and we're not going to get into all of that right now because it's in the past. We moved on. Every team in the NFL now has lost to a team that they had no business losing to. Every team has done it. Miami is no longer just exempt from that rule. But this is why I'm harping on this now. Because as of right now, the Buffalo Bills are currently sitting at 8-6. That is only 2 games behind the Miami Dolphins in the division. Only 2. That's all it's going to take. And who are the teams that the Bills are facing next? Their game next week is against the Los Angeles Chargers without Justin Herbert, because he just went on season-ending IR with an injury to his index finger. So he will not be back until next season, which means very likely it's going to be Easton Stick who's going to go and face against the Buffalo Bills. That seems like a win we can give to the Buffalo Bills at that point. What else are we going to be looking at? The Miami Dolphins have to deal with the Dallas Cowboys that same week. Now, I know a lot of Dallas fans. A lot of Dallas fans are telling us that they're going to go in there and they're just absolutely going to wreck our season because they're looking forward to it. The Buffalo Bills, the last win that they just got, they absolutely destroyed the Dallas Cowboys by a score of 31-10. And it was not Josh Allen playing hero ball. If there was any hero on the offense for the Bills that day, it was running back James Cook, Dalvin Cook's little brother. So if you think about it, the Buffalo Bills just gave Miami the blueprint that they need to be able to win against the Dallas Cowboys, which we can appreciate. Thank you very much, Buffalo, for showing us what we need to do if we're going to beat Dallas. And also, to be fair, Dallas has struggled on the road this season. So with that being said, let's keep going down the list here. The Bills will be facing the Chargers in Los Angeles without Justin Herbert. And then they go back home the next week on New Year's Eve. and they'll be playing against the Patriots, who at this point have nothing to play for. Bailey Zappi will probably be their quarterback. Okay, great, whatever. That's better than Mac Jones, but that's not saying a whole lot. And finally, watch this. The Miami Dolphins will be facing the Buffalo Bills on January 7th. Time to be determined. Now, the game will be in Hard Rock Stadium. But if Miami cannot beat Dallas, if they cannot beat Baltimore, there is a very distinct possibility that Miami's chances at winning the division are going to come down to that last game, that last division game. Dallas feels like, I want to say it's the least difficult challenge that Miami has staring them in the face right now. And when I say that with the utmost respect, because as of right now, the Dallas Cowboys are also sitting at 10-4. These Cowboys are no slouches, okay? These guys know what they need to do to win football games. For God's sakes, Dak Prescott for a few weeks was in the MVP conversation. I don't necessarily agree with it. Like, you can play MVP level football for a few weeks, but that doesn't make you MVP. Nevertheless, you look at it and you see that the Dallas Cowboys are a team that this is once again an opportunity for the Miami Dolphins to break this streak of not being able to beat teams that have winning records. They have the exact same record. And in many ways, the Dolphins and the Cowboys are mirror images of themselves. They have a fantastic offense. They have an up-and-coming defense with some up-and-coming players, some elite players. Micah Parsons for the Cowboys is an incredible player. You have Jalen Ramsey basically holding down the fort in the secondary for the Dolphins. You have Christian Wilkins and Zach Sealer for them. You see the similarities. You see the similarities for the Cowboys and the Dolphins. Now, here's the thing. Miami has the advantage. They are at home. They are in Hard Rock. So they will have that 12th man factor going in for them. The Dolphins know what they're going to need to do. We just watched the Buffalo Bills absolutely roast the Dallas Cowboys by running the football. They ran the football down their throats. I'm just looking right now at the stats for this game. What did the Buffalo Bills do? Just to give everybody an idea. Josh Allen, the incredible, put the team on his back, hero ball playing Josh Allen, right? He went 7 of 15 for 94 yards and 1 touchdown. That's it. That's all he did. 7 for 15. He didn't even complete 50% of his passes. He didn't even throw for 100 yards. What was the superstar? James Cook. 25 carries for 179 yards, averaging 7.2 yards a carry and a touchdown. Josh Allen also got a rushing touchdown. He had 8 carries for 24 yards. Latavius Murray, 5 carries for 11 yards and also a touchdown. And by the way, the one passing touchdown that Allen had all game was also to James Cook. It wasn't even Stephon Diggs. So you think about that. The Bills put up 31 points against these superstar Dallas Cowboys by a score of 31-10, and they just ran the ball down their throats. They got more than 200 yards rushing against these Cowboys. So this is where we get to the real situation here with the Miami Dolphins. Miami has one of the top rushing attacks in the NFL. There is no questioning that. Are we going to be getting Robert Hunt back? One can only hope. Are we going to get Austin Jackson back because he left the game with an injury? Kendall Lamb had to come in for him. We can only hope. Is Teron Armstead going to be healthy enough to play? Supposedly he was walking around with a limp. What else is new? We can only hope. Liam Eichenberg is going to have to continue to play center. He's actually doing a lot better than I thought he would. So credit to him and credit to Butch Barry for making something out of nothing when it comes to Liam Eichenberg. But here's Miami's situation. Miami loves to throw the football. And everything that they did against the Jets on Sunday was done without Tyreek Hill. So it's not like Tyreek is required in order for Miami to be successful. But it's very easy to fall into this trap of trying to get Tyreek the football, force the ball to Tyreek, get him those 2,000 yards that he's been searching for. At this point, forget the 2,000 yards. It's not worth it. There will be other years that you can try to squeeze the ball into Tyreek as much as humanly possible. He's not retiring yet. He's still going to be that guy next season. So what does Miami need to do? You already saw it against Buffalo. run the football down the Cowboys' throats. You have Raheem Mostert, who as of right now is the franchise leading touchdown scorer in a single season. Raheem Mostert has 20 total touchdowns. That's including rushing and receiving. And only one other player has even gotten that close. It was Mark Clayton in 1984 with 18. Raheem Mostert has 20. And there's still 3 games left. He will probably score a lot more. Nobody else is going to even come close to Mostert's number for a very, very long time. And so you see it and you acknowledge it. And Miami needs to understand, Mike McDaniel needs to understand that if Miami is going to win this game against the Cowboys coming up on Sunday, he needs to lean into the run game more than anything else, more than he ever has before. I say this with the utmost respect for what Mike McDaniel has done this season and last season too. He has done a phenomenal job changing the culture of this team, giving the players a reason to want to go out there and perform for him every single week. He is real, he is genuine, he is all of those things, and it has helped tremendously. But the one thing that I often question him for, and this is probably the only thing that I can really look at him and say, this is where you frustrate me, Mike McDaniel, is that he just abandons the run for no apparent reason, even when it's working perfectly. You could have 2 running backs averaging 5 yards a carry, and he'll still fall into this trap of trying to do the unexpected. Throw a fade in the back of the end zone to Tyreek Hill with Tua's pinpoint accuracy. I get the pinpoint accuracy, but the guy on the other end has to be able to make an assist too, because if the defender makes a terrific play, there's no amount of accuracy that's going to be able to help that. There isn't. They're going to be able to make a play. But when it comes to the Dolphins' running game, they're either going to stop you or they're not. And judging by the fact that Raheem Mostert has 20 total touchdowns this season, more often than not, they are not going to stop them when they run the football. 2 of Miami's 3 touchdowns on offense against the Jets came with Raheem Mostert running the football. And even when it looked like it wasn't going to work, they kept pounding it until they actually got through. And it worked out for them. The other touchdown was a deep pass to Jalen Waddle, which, by the way, it was a thing of beauty to watch. But it was a deep touchdown. That's the vertical game that the Dolphins always want to try and get established. That's great. That's fantastic. It's a lot easier with Tyreek in there. But when you have to play hard-nosed football, when you have to get physical, this is where the Dolphins need to really lean into this, especially when you see that it worked against another team. I am positive that the Dallas Cowboys are going to try to adjust. They're going to try to make sure that this doesn't happen again, that they're not going to get run all over again. But that means that if they do that, they're going to open the door for Tyreek Hill, who will probably be ready to go by this upcoming Sunday. It'll probably be ready to go. Jalen Waddle will be back. You're going to have Tyreek back. You'll have Raheem Mostert still. Devon Achane still going to be there. And by the way, he did a few good things too. He's not to leave him in the dust. He didn't do anything spectacular. But you really see that just slow and steady, the Dolphins just continue to push in that running game. That is what you need, especially against teams that have winning records like the Dallas Cowboys. This show is not meant to celebrate the fact that the Dolphins beat the Jets. I expected them to beat the Jets. I didn't expect them to beat them that badly. I was honestly expecting a much closer game. I was thinking something along the lines of 21-14, because even I underestimated Miami's ability to score points with Tyreek Hill not available, because I'd never seen the offense without Tyreek. Not for an extended period of time, anyway. So watching what they did, seeing where Tyreek was not available the entire game and they were still able to move the football, that is very encouraging. But they have to run the football. Mike McDaniel cannot shy away from running the football and doing it consistently if they are going to beat the Dallas Cowboys. I do think that Miami will win this game. They are in Hard Rock Stadium. I will always give them an advantage in their own turf. But the Dolphins have to run the football. And I think that maybe, hopefully, Mike McDaniel will have learned his lesson at this point. He will have watched what the Buffalo Bills did to Dallas Cowboys. Somebody will tell him, hey, listen, these guys are weak when it comes to this particular aspect of their defense. Maybe we should try to exploit that. And I'm hoping with all my heart and soul that he will go ahead and he will learn that lesson and use it. So we're going to go ahead and call this show here. Thank you all so much for listening. If you haven't already done so, make sure you go to prizepicks.com, use that promo code 5, that's F-I-V-E, and they will match up to $100 on your initial deposit when you sign up. Oh, and by the way, before I forget to mention it, this show is affiliate sponsored by My Nintendo Store. Use the links in the description below to make your order. You will get special bonus items upon making the order, so you're going to have a lot of really good incentives, especially with Christmas right around the corner. There's only a week away before Christmas Day, so make sure you're putting in those orders, giving your kids the best present that they can imagine. All right, that's going to be it. We will see you all Wednesday for another episode of Fins Nation. Make sure you're tuned in on Tuesday night for Pulse of Fins Nation Live.